Oh, well, we did that. We actually need to look at upping it higher, because we did that a few years ago. We upped it to that rate. It was like 50.
Okay, so we have not, you know.
No, we need to look at doing that.
Okay.
I think
might be
now-
thinking about RDC just did theirs, they just changed their rates. Okay, so we have,
We haven't, no, it's still 58.
okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, the next is, do y'all have any questions about that? Okay. Tax assessor, our county reval, we have not paid, they haven't invoiced us for any of the revaluation yet. But I did talk to Pam, and she talked to the company, and they are gonna be sending us a bill for $60,000 in this year's budget, so we can actually change that where it says 151,000 requested, change that to 91,000. 91,000? Yeah.
So the total cost, that's $151,000.
I just thought I'd stop by and introduce myself to y'all.
Oh, yeah, come on in.
I haven't met some of y'all.
Good lady right here now. She saved us all. Go ahead.
I'm Judy Moss. I'm the service probate judge until the end of the year, till we get one elected. So I know some of these people I was probate judge in Lanier County for 36 years, so I know this job and I know it well. And I'm trying to put y'all in a better place. And we're working hard at it.
And we appreciate you too.
Well, I want
Thank
to-
you so much.
Well, I'm here. If anybody ever has a question and wants to come by and talk a minute, I'll be available.
Okay.
Okay? All right, take care.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
So, that would change the increase on that line item to 33,500 instead of the 93,500. And Miss Tanya, just to update you where we're at.
My
You got it.
apologies.
Are you on the right section?
Yeah, I'm under county reval.
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, she's good.
Alright. And then they went up a little bit on computer service maintenance by $300, travel and training by $2,000.
Travel and all, it's gonna go about anywhere, because
Yeah.
everything's got so much more expensive.
That's right.
Okay.
And then the pest control, we might not need that increase, cause we're probably gonna get that done within this fiscal year. So we could probably.
They're going from 5,200 to 11.
Well, that's with us getting this treatment done
Oh, okay.
at our office. That's on the regular agenda.
Okay.
So I got bids from
Oh, okay.
some other companies,
Okay.
but we'll probably get invoiced this year for that. So
So we scratch that.
what we can do is, I would maybe just do 6,000.
Okay, for 11, move out to 6.
Yes. So that'd be.
Okay. Anybody got any questions? Anytime we're going through this, feel free to ask. Okay, Michelle.
Okay, next we're in the general administration section of the budget. This is one of the biggest increases in our budget is the health insurance, which we're still not sure what that rate is gonna be. Anthem came back, we have Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield, and their renewal was a 42% increase. So I took our current fiscal year budget of the health insurance, the $617,000, and times that by 42%, which gave me the $877,453. But I had Pam run some more, I guess, tighter numbers on that, and we can change that amount a little less. But there is a possibility we won't get a 42% increase because our broker is still negotiating with Anthem, and he should probably know something for sure, whether or not they'll come off of that increase a little bit by Wednesday. But for now, we can change that 877 to 815,979. So that would be an increase of $198,004. or sorry, $198,054. Okay. Y'all have any questions about that one? The next one is.
Well, last year, we didn't have an increase, was it? Last year?
Right,
That was 30% decrease.
yeah, we had a 30%.
Had a decrease in it last year, so now we got back to more this year.
It's like the tax places, we're gonna bring it down, we bid up 95, rate, tax CTL,
Yes, that's right.
91,751.
now, how about the total, what, 95, 8, that is involved?
Yeah, that'll be changed.
What would it be?
35.8?
So it'd be
95, 8?
38.5?
Looks like 35.8 to me.
Might be.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Isn't it 35.8?
Mhm.
Just figure it in my head.
okay. Alrighty, so next is the retirement. And the reason why there is a $12,000 increase there is because we're still paying on the old retirement. We had a pension with ACCG a long time ago, and they recommend every year a certain amount for us to contribute to the account, and they recommended 12,000. But we technically really we don't have to put in that 12,000. We could wait and put more in next year, because we are in good shape in the retirement, but it is good to always kind of put something towards it.
Well, do we get interest on retirement? When that money you pay in, is there interest in accruing on that account when you add it?
I don't think so.
You just pay a flat amount there. Yeah,
It's better for them to use their guest
I
dog.
guess so, I was just saying,
Well, there's only a few people left
On like
on that. It's a frozen
It's a
plan.
pension plan.
Frozen
Pension.
pension. Well, I just didn't know if they took the money and then they were like,
Yeah.
I was gonna say at 3.75, you might be making more money if we, golly, seems like they would be doing something with that.
Yeah. Then the next one is the cooperative extension retirement. We're required by Georgia law to pay that. So that has gone up just a little bit. Next is our liability insurance. It was at $124,128. Now our renewal is $175,557. So that's a $51,000 increase. And that's from all the lawsuits we've had in the past couple years with law enforcement. So, there's an option to do a cheaper, plan that has a higher deductible. It would save about $10,000. But it would have a higher deductible on law enforcement, liability, and peace officer, elected official liability. It'd be 25,000 versus 5,000.
But that would be all elected officials.
That would be all
So
elected
that would
officials.
be any elected official.
And it is there's a more detail about that in the general administration section of your binder. If y'all wanna look at it, it's section 13.
I just leave it there. You know what I'm saying, 'cause we got possible another one coming. Not from this administration, but from the past. What y'all think, I'm leaving.
You said you're only saving 10 if you do that?
You could end up spending 5, you could end up spending 20 on the deductible, so.
Yeah, that's
How much does it run that out?
5,000.
It goes to 25 if you do that.
Mm-hmm.
And they are in situations, they get caught sometimes in bad situations, they really do. So, that's what it is.
If you're saving 10 to spend 20, I don't think that's helpful.
No.
That ain't good, is it?
All right, concerted services, their phone, we pay their phone bill, and that just went up a little bit. And then miscellaneous, we can drop that down to 24,000. I was just kinda averaging, but we can keep it tight.
Put a question mark by that and see what we get to.
Okay. All right. Elections, the poll workers is asking for an increase of 5,000. I guess in anticipation of the special election we gotta have in November.
You know, what's the bad about if they have a state election? That's what's the bad about if they have a state election, we still have to hold, you know, because we don't have a clue who it is even running, you know what I'm saying? So you never know, and they have to be there.
Like now,
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
we're having that commission or,
Oh, yeah. So, all right,
Public Service Commission, and it's not even our
They had
district,
two
but it's
people
state,
vote. They got two people.
and
I
they're
didn't
doing
know, I didn't know we
early
was even voting on anything.
voting. Yeah, they're doing early voting, and it's only online, but it's mandated, so.
You know, we were having a tax commissioner election.
I hadn't, but there's a possibility my boss did. Or does.
Let's just leave that, I'll give y'all, leave that, let's see what we have.
I knew that was
Question mark by it, too.
23rd Circuit judge.
It's a special,
So it's
public service
Public Service
commission.
Commission, that's why I said tax, sorry.
Okay. Let's put a question mark by it, let's,
Keep
we'll
going.
see where we at.
Okay, in the courts, Superior Court judges supplement, the Superior Court judges have asked for a $3,000 increase. That's supplement that they get.
Is that including the third judge?
No,
They have the appointment, I think you're going more, that's what's supposed to happen, until we can have an election on that.
Yes.
That's what they happened. Yeah, they have said in the works and stuff, yeah, they still got some other hurdle to go through that.
My understanding is that there's not going to be an election, it's just going to.
You just got appointments,
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah, yeah.
appoint someone until we get to the next,
Yeah, until, yes.
you know, the next election cycle, and then they'll run.
Yep.
So we're gonna have to,
Yeah, there's gonna be that.
leave it out like it is.
okay,
We'll talk about the Andy up there.
leave that at 12,
No, I'm just going to leave.
or leave the request.
That's what I'll do.
Okay. Next is technical services, this is Mary Ruth, they are requesting, digital, it's like a case management system software, and from my understanding, us and Atkinson are the only ones that have not switched over to that. So that's why there's an increase of 13,000 there.
It's a one-time fee of 900 and something, dollars.
It's just gonna have
Or,
to happen.
I mean, let's see, what is she?
It's $9,480.
Yeah, $9,700.
That's one time fee, though.
One-time fee, and then $375 a month, which was about the norm.
Okay,
We gotta catch up with everybody.
and then court reporter fee went up by $1,200. I think that's just taking the average cost that it's been. I don't think there's anything special. And then bailiffs and jurors, it was 15,500, and Meredith is requesting 20,000.
How much have we spent this year on that?
Not very much.
So I haven't spent very much on that. And that's
Most of the
whole,
times we really don't spend, yeah, we haven't spent anything.
I I'd cut that back.
In the previous year, we didn't spend anything.
I'd cut that back. We ain't gonna have that court.
Well, I think that we're actually paying, Mr. Stanley Stovey now out of the sheriff's department to do it, right?
He's, no, he's doing as they come in, they're monitoring them, going through the.
Oh, so he's not doing the,
No,
okay,
she gets her own Vegas and journal hours,
okay.
Yeah.
Vegas, but yeah, Stanley's just working, instead of having to take a
With the
deputy off.
sheriff.
I don't believe that,
Stanley's working.
I wouldn't do the increase, I mean, personally, you know, what y'all want to do, just cut it back, leave it what it was.
So she's not been spending any of
She's
that?
not.
So we're
Been
just,
spending, yeah.
so we're just holding, it's a placeholder?
Yeah.
Uh,
But we don't really need placeholders right
Right.
I
this
just
year.
say we,
Cause, yeah, we're not gonna spend it just cause it's there, you know what I'm saying? You know?
no, that's what I'm saying, but I mean, we don't.
But we don't need that, we don't need to add to something we're not using, you know what I'm saying?
The reason why some of the reason, Tony, why that happens is because whenever she has like, grand jury and then they go and they have traverse jurors, well, they'll have an allotted amount of jurors that they need, and then she previously has asked Debbie, to cut the check because she's got to pay them, but then they plea out, blah, blah, blah. So then she has a little bit of reserve over there in her fund. But once that runs out, she is gonna start using this again.
Well,
So
mine's
I
not
don't know
to
how
be,
much.
don't be using computer checks to cut before you need them. Cause those things, I mean, I think the ones y'all had the safety features too and all on those things, I mean.
What it is, I think she does, I think she takes and requests an amount, cause she writes the check.
Yeah, 'cause she has to write a
She
check
writes
out
out
of her.
a
Okay.
check.
So,
And
yeah.
she just puts that money to that account.
Okay, so she's not writing checks over here, I was just saying, Lord have mercy.
No, Debbie does not write the check. She writes one check to Mary
Mary
Mark.
Mark, yeah, Mary Ruth.
So y'all think just leave it at 15,000?
Yeah, I believe it. Y'all good with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And then, we went up, Mary went up a little bit on her phone. And then travel and training went up 500. The juvenile offenders program, that's, Judge Mathis. She had, requested $750 a month. So a full year's worth is 9,000 because we started that in the middle of the year.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna have to do that, because we agreed earlier to do that.
That's right.
The board already approved that, so that's got to go
Yeah. And then this Mary Ruth's supplies and indexing, she increased that by 2,500, but I don't think that really gets used
up. What is
that
it?
much either. Well, let's see. Missy, you might can explain,
So-
you used to work over there.
So I think what happened was this was some of the stuff that was left, right, where they hadn't paid all of it to the, am I right? Where they hadn't paid all of it for that indexing project?
Oh, like putting everything online? Oh, I think we paid all that.
You think so? Cause I thought that's why that was there.
So what is in there?
What is being asked you on that?
I don't know what it is. I mean, so indexing mean what we're doing to put it on the, online?
I don't know, putting it on the microfiche or doing something like that, is that what we're doing?
Well,
That needs to happen, we're doing, that
See,
needs to happen.
let's see, some of it is her office supplies, but the indexing.
Oh, supplies and indexing, okay, I see that, okay. What did it spend last year in supplies and what did it do last year?
The previous year, the full previous year was 24,726. So far, she spent $19,787. The budget's $27,500 this year.
I'd just say leave it at 27.5.
Yeah.
What I do. Y'all, so that's up to y'all, what's the board, that's all, that's what I do, I do 20.
27.5, what if she runs out of something? I mean,
Got $7,000 left right now.
Seven, okay.
We're like 2 months left in the year. So, yeah, she got
That's
the
right,
pay back May, June, and July.
Mhm.
And not a whole lot going on in June, and July, I don't think, anywhere, home fishing. Let some drive up. Everybody leaves business. It's really good. Okay.
All right, and she went up, Mary Ruth went up a little bit on postage, 1,000.
That's everywhere, y'all postage going crazy.
So do we have one of those machines, what we're using? I mean,
We don't,
We use, just
picnic boat,
the,
we don't use picnic boat.
no, I think we used to have that, right, Pam?
It was a mess.
Yeah, created a problem.
Created a big problem. It was in Danny's office. Danny was in there, and people would come in there, and it was just a mess trying to keep up with whose office this went to, whose office that went to, and it was just always a problem.
Okay.
So it was with picnic boats.
Okay.
So that has been done away with years and years ago, back when Danny was there. And so they just get postage from the post office. When they get them, they'll just go get it.
And plus it helps keep the post offices open, cause we used to actually buy all of our rolls from DuPont, cause that would look good on them to keep them to have a post office still and not all closed, so kind of that.
That's when it started closing everything around.
I'm following you, but I had to drive out of town recently because
We didn't have stamps. You couldn't get them.
couldn't get them.
I had to drive over to Douglas to get stamps for the newspaper office because nobody in Riley's had them.
Post office doesn't have any stamp.
Yeah, they couldn't get them. Like it's like they had ordered them, but they weren't sending them to them yet.
Yeah.
So like, Douglas was the closest place to us that still had some stamps.
Yeah. I was supporting Emily's card ministry with stamps because she couldn't get them, and then we ran out of stamps. I was like, Lord, and they still didn't have them. This went on for like 2 or 3 weeks, you know.
And then it was like 70
I
something
was
bucks
saying,
a
I don't know
roll.
if that was something we thought we should
Put on
do.
speaker and let it
Hey Deborah. Hey, sorry, I had my phone on silent. Hold,
Here.
Just let it right
okay,
there.
hold on, I'm gonna.
Do you think it would be better now? I mean, because, however long that.
I think the biggest problem, I think, Pam saying there, is you have so
Multiple
many
people
different,
using one
different
machine.
entities using the
It's
same
very
machine.
expensive too, very
And then trying
expensive.
to keep it all straight. And I think that's where the charge is off to, so.
And plus you pay the fee for using it.
It's big, for the machine and for these, there's like, it's expensive. That's why they done away with it, like I said, years ago,
Okay.
back in the days.
You think
I
we
think
were?
a lot of that, I think a lot of businesses use that just for convenience,
Mm-hmm.
where they don't have to go mess with the post office. And so they just use, am I right? And I think they use it for convenience, what they do. And I don't know that you save that much, I really don't.
Okay, I was just curious, I know. I mean, it's eating us alive, you know, mailing out stuff.
Oh, yeah,
It's
that
terrible.
postage is terrible, what you do when you got bills, mailing out bills, everybody. Yeah, it's a rough deal.
Also, the post office could get a little bit better since the guy who was the postmaster is no longer the postmaster, and I think he was kind of most of the problem. so
That's usually the case.
yeah, so it could get better very quickly, but
Usually the case. The problem usually lies from within.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jack, and what else on that one? That's about it,
sorry.
The rest of it's just very,
Yeah, it's not very. much
yeah,
of a
just cut that
difference.
back to 27.5, you know, the leave it 27.5 in that clerk and court wise.
Okay,
We can adjust and they would have to.
all right. Okay, moving on to probate magistrate. So, as y'all may know, the constable position is no longer over there. Right now we have 2 deputy clerk, a deputy magistrate clerk and a deputy probate clerk. And then we'll also have a new judge in the fall. And there's also a part-time magistrate supplement that will be divvied out by whoever becomes that probate judge. So when you factor all those in, it's $148,377. Miss Judge Mullis, she has requested $165,629, because she's requesting a raise for the 2 clerks that are over there in the amount of $16.20 an hour. They were at, I believe they're.
We handle raises all together.
Right.
We just cut that, we handle that all together. We're not gonna do
Yeah.
something for them. Everybody else just scratch that.
Yeah, and then she had also added in a part-time, position over there to help, but you know, we decreased the number over there back a couple
Oh, yeah.
years ago when they moved traffic court out of there to Mary
So
Result.
many's over now, just her and 2 more?
That's right, and there's
There's a
3
part-
more.
And that's what
So you got a part-time over there too.
They have
Yeah.
a part-time over there.
See, Chase Dartrey asked could they get, Carrie came and didn't charge anything for 3 or 4 weeks to go through the paperwork. They brought Autumn Willis in too to help do that. But Judge Judy wants to keep her part-time and possibly make her full-time, and the other 2 girls and her.
We need to just wait and we get another, if we get a full time, probate judge election, what we need to,
So we need to scratch that out.
yeah.
But I don't think she knew that that's what they bring Autumn in for, was just to help us with paperwork. You know, so. But we told her there wasn't a part-time position, they're just 2 full-time.
Travel and training, you have to leave that for the clients, whoever wins that position, they're gonna have to go to school.
I was gonna make a suggestion that repairs and maintenance that's under probate magistrate, each office, not every office, but some of the offices have a repairs and maintenance line item. That's like repairs and maintenance to their individual office, like if they fix something in their office. But that always comes out of, we just charge it out of buildings, repairs and maintenance, so I think.
Separate place there, so we can strike that.
So we can get rid of all that out of, the other departments. I think it, by total, it is like $3,250 we need.
You have, well, what is that, like $15,000-$20,000 you got in there for maintenance?
I think 50.
50,000, okay.
That's right.
Yeah, we can do that.
So, okay. All right. And then just leave the travel and training like it is, 'cause
Yeah, we're gonna have a new program, so they're gonna have to go to school.
that's right.
But when that school is,
And then, okay, next is the sheriff's budget. The ankle monitoring, he went up a little bit on that, $1,500 from $2,000 to $3,500. Travel and training, he went up from $10,000 to $12,000, $2,000. Office supplies went up by $300, and then gasoline increased by $20,000.
what are we now?
Let's see.
Gasoline's coming down some.
That's right.
And with newer, better vehicles that don't need a lot
Yeah.
of repair, you should be able to get
And
better
most-
mileage.
And most of them live here
Most
Yeah.
of
in
them.
the counties.
Really? Okay, I did not realize that, honestly, I did not realize that.
I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
A
okay.
lot of them
So that one, so we've spent 43,000
So far?
so far.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking 10,000, not 10,000 off of that. That's what I was
Yeah,
thinking.
just use 60.
Tell you, sit side the road, Mark. I'm serious, I mean, I don't know, you know, I'm always kind of, you just run it up on something that's next to. It's true. It just don't happen. Unless you're me, out of luck, I run up somebody that had 14 guns and me with my little derringer in my pockets while I run up with, you know what I'm saying?
I agree with that, but on the other hand, it's kind of like a teacher on her feet's worth 2 in her seat.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, you need a presence sometimes.
they need patrol, I agree, they do need patrol, I agree with you 100% on that.
Because I'm leaving out my neighborhood, so you know, we live on the shallow 500 out there. And I'm one of the culprits, I've speed too.
Oh, you did it.
But we're standing out there, when we're in the blueberry shed, no lie, when we're out there working back too, there'll be people going by there, I'm telling you, they're going 70, and us all over the road out there, so,
We got a solution to that, do we do it?
well, that's true.
Hey, they do it on, not just there, and that's at least a long stretch of road. They do it down Locklear.
Oh, yeah.
We got the best speed gun in the world, that new bridge, if you hit that thing going very fast, you look like Dukes of Hazzard, I never seen anything like
That is,
that.
I'm telling you, that is nice, that bridge.
Yes.
It really is, what was said. The hazard, that bridge. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, Ms. Jackson, move on.
Okay, next is the jail housing of inmates, went from 400,000 to 450,000. So,
And you said we're sitting there about 300 something thousand right now.
that's right.
We haven't paid for May yet, have we? May, June, July, 3 months.
How many inmates we got right now, y'all know?
I don't.
We're gonna try to sit down and look at that.
Is it increasing on the south side?
Not yet.
On the housing though?
Oh, no.
I'll be shocked if it doesn't come though, I'll be honest with you. $50, I'm gonna have to do it $50 a day, I'll be honest with you. I don't know how many we got over there, I really don't know how many we got. And what they're there for, you know, if they're there for murder and child abuse or domestic violence or been called DUI 3 times and sitting over there, that's a different story. But sitting over maybe lifting candy bar from Tanya's out there sitting there for that, we might have to sort of see what we can do with that, you know what I'm saying? But that's the sheriff's call right there, that's not my call, it's the sheriff's call.
Well, the third judge might, when they get that third person sworn in, that might start.
I'm hoping
Cause they're, I mean,
that would help a lot.
we're struggling with the right and the speedy trial thing, I think, because we hadn't had enough judges.
Well, the sheriff did bring up the other day that the ankle monitoring, part of the reason why he wanted to go up was to do the ankle monitoring is a lot cheaper than housing inmates.
Oh, I guarantee you didn't see me say
So
that,
he
you didn't see me say about ankle monitor, did you?
So he did say that the other day, so.
And that would be, yes, but that's a huge cost to us, but that's cheap compared if you have an jail. Ask them over in Pearson. Okay, Ms. Jackson, let's cut that to 425, y'all. Let's do that,
Okay.
425, that good with everybody? Okay,
Okay. Inmate medical, he went up 5,000.
that's, what about the insurance? Do you ever get insurance covered on that?
We have, and it's helped a lot.
Helped a lot on that. You think that's about right there?
Yeah, I would think that's fair.
That looks pretty good, what I've seen in the past, it's really come down one year, like 75, 100,000 one year.
Yeah. It was.
Had one squatter, a piece of metal over it. We had to do surgery on him. If he's in that jail, he belongs to you. Like a child, he belongs to you.
Yep, that's right.
All right, go ahead.
All right, the next is substation supplies. We can just keep it at 220.
Yeah. I don't know what, I've never seen a door unlocked.
Well, we bought new doors with that
Yeah.
last few months ago. They were all
Need a
corroded.
truck inside there?
Yeah, they were still a truck.
There's a truck in there.
How about one every day?
Yeah.
There's a truck in there?
Yeah, a truck and water. You know, supposed to get all that money saved on.
I'm not crank, there's one in there.
No, they do go by and check them. I know Eric stops by that in the house every night, every once in a while, coming forward and check.
They just had to put batteries in 2 of them.
Yeah.
No, that's not cheap.
No. Jack.
Okay, the next is the dispatch. They requested 10,000.
Yeah. But we'll get 5 of that back from the city, is that correct?
That's right.
Because we share that cost with the city, they do half and we do half. And what it is, they're needing more money, so all 3 counties, voted to come and ask our counties to go up $10,000 each to help, you know, with the expense of 911 center. It's pretty critical, 911 center, pretty critical place. And they're having a hard time keeping personnel there too.
That's right.
So I would really ask y'all to do that, because that's, everybody else will, who's gonna agree to do it. Matter of fact, I think Lanier's already at 150, I think. I don't know why, but I think they're already there.
Okay. The next one is EMA. He's requesting to go up $700 more on gas. I think we can just leave the gas the same
Just ask
Or-
for it, I mean.
because,
Because the truck sits all the time. I mean, he does not abuse the truck. That's one thing I can say about him. He does not abuse that truck whatsoever.
he spent $562 so far this year, but a lot of that was, you know, we had a hurricane.
Hurricane.
And then the year before that, it was $354.
Yeah.
So I think we could do it at 1,000.
I fix that $1,000 would be a good place to take it to.
Why does Cap Riley have it so much?
Okay, so he's got like a lot of the tarps and cots and stuff left accumulated, and he needs, a lot of them are stored down at the EMA office in the hallway, and I suggested him get a price on those portable,
Yeah.
one of those portable, storage units. So he got a price, and he got a price for two, which we could just do one, but he had left some other money in there just for if anything came about. But my suggestion is to do his capital outlay for the cost of one of those for $2,705, $2,705, instead of $8,000.
He's got one stall of ours took up the top about 20 pounds, isn't that right?
Really?
This is those 40-foot high rail containers, like shipping containers that he's
And we can
wanting
keep
to
it
purchase.
out at the road department behind the fence somewhere.
He's got rooms up there. He's down there now,
Yeah.
since that building went up.
And what you suggest we do there,
Instead of 8,000 requests, do 2,705.
okay? Everybody good with that?
So that'd be a $1,545 increase.
Miss Deborah, you still with us over there? Miss
Miss Deborah's homeless.
Okay, all right, okay, I heard you breathing, I want to make sure.
I put it on mute, so.
Okay, okay,
Everything.
okay,
Alright.
Okay,
here's the good one, y'all.
the next one is the ambulance service contract is going up by $184,982.
I suggest we rebid that. Keep him honest. I mean, that's,
I did some figuring on this, and he has 6 full-time employees, what he has that works out of there. And they work like, kind of like you, Tanya, I just had a hard time seeing how compliant. He hasn't been doing a very good job, he's off that far, you know what I'm saying? Because he's losing money at that price. But anyhow, he got 6 full-time employees. And what they do, they work 48 on, and they work 2 days on, and they off 4 days, 2 and 4, that kind of shift. And I figured at $23 an hour, $22 an hour, before we figure almost $200,000 what the salaries would be. Then the insurance on 6 people, I figured $10,000 a piece. That's $60,000. That's $260,000. Then you got roughly 10% on the salary, that's another 20, so what is that, 280? Ambulance, a new ambulance costs about 134,000 new now, and I think it used to be about 68, 70 a few years ago. And now it's gone to 134, I think what he told us right now. So you figure on that, one ambulance, that's about, a cost out of that about 25,000 a year.
Is he gonna have a trained paramedic on that every call?
We hope he does, he's supposed to. I can't guarantee you that, I can't, he
We
can't.
can put it in our
And
contract.
we need to make sure he got a,
Right, well, you know, and honestly, he's supposed to, and I think he tries to, and I think that's going pretty good right now. But,
There has been.
if he wanna go up on it, I don't need to make him,
right,
yeah, he might spend more money to get one, but he needs to have one.
and then,
But they already took an average going to you, can't put IV in.
oh, I agree, you just go picking somebody up, like G. Michael used to be. Just take the old hearse, he go down the hearse, and
It's, yeah,
take the red light, and put the red light on top of it, here you go.
but he needs to make sure you got somebody training where to do what he needs to do. to get-
And then, like I say, in his defense, I think he tries to do that all the time, but you know, you have circumstances like the guy just fell out the other day on transport of a patient.
Yeah.
And driving, regretting the darn thing. And, but there were several things, it ran on up to, what else do we have on our daily figure? And he had supplies, you know, in order to do that. Then he has his administrative costs, you know, for the company salaries for.
Well, what the next bid was last time, it was, I know he's a lot way cheaper than another bidder, but another bid we had last, y'all had last time over here, but if he gonna go up, I wouldn't mind going more, because guarantee he's gonna have somebody on there to train.
Well, I think too, what we need to do, from my understanding, sometimes this happens, an emergency medical responder is on the truck, which they can't really do anything.
They drive.
They just drive.
Drive and do.
We could put that in there too, that we want minimum level is a basic EMT, is what we want.
Yeah,
So there's no way to put somebody like that on the truck too.
Yeah.
The biggest complaint that I get all the time is about the ambulance service. And I mean, you know, I don't see why we couldn't just at least, I mean, and again, there was a disparity between what other people I asked. But I mean, I still say bid it out. I mean, at that point in time, then we'll decide whether or not he really needs $184,000.
No, they not bidding it off last time, but they could be with what, 1.1, something like that?
It doesn't.
What I was
We're
suggesting.
putting a price on somebody's life. I stood on the highway waiting on an ambulance.
Yeah.
And you're putting a price on somebody's life, and until you stood there waiting on the ambulance to come, I'm just saying, that's the biggest bone of contention in this community is our ambulance service, and I'm willing to just at least see, rather than giving him carte blanche and say, oh, we're gonna tag in here, you gotta do so-and-so, how are we gonna make him uphold that? If we say he's gotta have these people and he doesn't, are we gonna say that every time you don't, we want $10,000 back? I mean, there's no teeth in that, and adding in a little addendum. I'm just saying, I'd rather make somebody justify that, because if he thinks other people are bidding, then does he really need $184,000? And I understand what you're saying, because I understand the cost of the people, but it's a huge problem that we don't have ambulance services, and people are saying they're bringing their own people into town. I mean, and I say making, listen,
Everybody have a standing understanding that if one of us gets sick, we get in the car, we come, you know what I'm saying?
and I agree with
I'm
that.
gonna be honest with you, I hate to say that, that's the way it
Yeah,
is.
but we're in a position to try to help everybody.
Oh, I agree with that, I wish we had two ambulances, I'll be the first one to tell you, if we had two ambulance staff full-time or full-time paramedics, I would be tickled to death to do that. But it finally gets to be a cost factor now, and you know, in the past when people come and I hear the same thing you hear too about one of those. Most of the time, I've had, I think, two people tell me they care what it costs.
Well, I mean, that's like the other day I was listening at work. Somebody, I don't know where that's at. The ambulance was about Austin.
Yeah.
And they called and said, well, the ambulance called back and said, well, tell them it's gonna be 45 minutes when we get there. You know, I didn't think that they were supposed to be doing transports.
No, they weren't they probably transported a patient over because when they picked them up, they didn't go to Val Austin. When they picked me up, they went straight to Val Austin when they said.
But I thought that during the day they supposed to have a transport ambulance here and nothing.
No.
Yeah, but they could be taking a 911 call all the way
Yeah,
there.
all the way there.
They
They go to Waycross, they go to Douglas, or they go to Val Austin, they won't go beyond that, you know what I'm saying, they won't go to Jacksonville. And, but but anyhow,
We have
we have,
had an ambulance in Jacksonville, we've had transports down there.
is it our 911 ambulance or is it transport ambulance?
I had this conversation about 6 months ago, and frankly, I can't remember what I had for breakfast, but the problem is that, anything I get into here is gonna cause a hullabaloo, is that I would rather bid it out. I'm saying, make him prove it, let's bid it out and let's just see, because that's due diligence. Somebody's asking for nearly $200,000 more, I think due diligence would be, let's bid it out, let's just see, because other people
What
make.
my suggestion right now is, yeah, I do agree with what you're saying, we need to, this kind of money we need to, but we're sitting here right now up against the wall. You know what I'm saying? I'm not bidding anything out. And so what we can't do right now is we can't lose our ambulance service we have. So let's go ahead, let's get into this thing and then let's bid it out for next year. We'll see if it's got to do all this, when this thing through in April.
Our contract with them is August.
No, I mean, when did he come see us? In April?
April.
And so that's the first time I realized that was coming was in April. But right now,
Well then, may I ask then, if we're gonna do this contract and we're requesting to have this stuff, then there needs to be punitive. There needs to be something punitive in there, that if you say that you're gonna have X, Y, and Z, and you get a warning, and then you get a second opportunity, on that third opportunity, to zap him with,
I have no problem.
I mean, I think that's fair.
I have no problem with it.
Hold his feet to the fire, because
I have no problem with that.
I mean, you know, I mean, again, you can't put an amount on anybody's life, but that's what we're doing, and he's gonna have, you know, not he, that company, we don't wanna make it personal, that company, if they're gonna say that they're providing us with X, Y, and Z, and they do not, then there needs to be punitive, you know, repercussions for every time they don't. Because at the end of the day, what does that company care? They're not living here, they don't know us, we know everybody, and we have to look at people when they say, hey, we didn't have so-and-so.
Y'all are the ones they're calling.
Yes, that's right, yes.
Y'all are the ones they're calling.
Oh, yeah.
On the weekend and.
But the other thing too that he's had a problem with, y'all, to let you know, is poor pay. I mean, he gets, you know, where he was where he was making his money was when he was billing for the ambulance, you know what I'm saying? And that has been horrible.
Well, that company may need to sit down and do the same thing we're doing and decide where they can start tightening their belt too, because like I said, I just, if we're not willing to bid it out, then I think it needs to be, I don't know if I need to make a motion to say that, but there needs to be punitive repercussions anytime he does not uphold his end of that company's.
I have no problem doing that, we just need to let Chad go through the contract and look at the contract on and see
They'll
what
be
it
sending
says.
us a new contract with a new
Yeah.
price, and that's a good time.
And that'd be a good time to go put
Yes.
that in there. Since we're going up, let's go ahead and do that.
Yeah, but he's asking for
It's
nearly-
over 60,000.
I give you 200,000 reasons why this company needs to provide a better service.
Yeah.
If they want that kind of money, then the service either A has to go up, or B, they have to pay for when they're short on their end.
I have no problem with that. So right now, I think we're still in a situation right now where we've got to go along with
Back in
it
my understanding.
until we get there. And I don't mind rebidding the whole thing next year, you know what I'm saying? I
Yes.
just have, and to go ahead and doing the contract that we're talking about, I have no problem with
Do we have a agreement with any other counties around, if we hire around Consumer?
that. Yeah, we got a mutual aid, we're a mutual aid agreement with Lanier and with Atkins County.
Lanier Atkinson.
And Waycross has come before.
Yeah.
Waycross has come. And we go to them too, now they get, like I said, they don't have one ambulance over in Alaska, they don't have one ambulance in Atkinson. They probably have some kind of mutual agreement with Douglas across Canada, it's close with each other. But y'all, the ambulance deal is a problem, not only in Clinch County, but nationwide. And what the biggest problem is trying to find personnel. Because right now, what's happening, you got a 2-year RN, they can make $70,000 a year in a hospital. And so if you can make $70,000 versus $55,000 a year, $60,000 a year, and
You get all that training, we won't spend home.
and you pretty much know what's coming to you in the hospital, and you're not out waiting around the ditches trying to get somebody out and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, paramedics are adrenaline junkies, so they're like people like this one over here is, like I was, man, you chasing something, you know what I'm saying? I don't know why we wouldn't consider talking to the schools about, some of that training that they're doing with, like, they got the nursing program and stuff. Maybe we could start one where we're doing some EMT and possibilities of doing some stuff like that.
I don't mind going back and talking to the hospital, see if they may be interested in, taking it back. I wouldn't mind doing that, if they would be interested in that.
Yes, I mean, I just, like I said, we.
You're like, I don't remember, so we have to-
And of course, the reason we did this, because we're fixing to have to buy 2 or 3 brand new ambulances.
That's right.
That's why we went ahead and bid the thing out. That's why we did that start with. So right now, we're gonna take it, we're gonna let Chad look at the contract, and then we're gonna work on from there. And redo the contract and put some teeth into it. Very good. That good with everybody? And then we'll look at rebidding it for the next year, and let's get time, we'll go out and get a rebid on it. We'll do that wherever we need to. Okay? All right, Jackie, next one, we got 2 minutes.
Okay. Let's see. The rest is I guess the biggest is, so the garbage pickup, that went up because they went up on our price, 16 something a can a month in the middle of last year. So that's
What's that about gas, if I remember what the paper reported? Gas is coming down.
Yeah, it was the CPI, the Consumer Price Index. If it increases so much, then they are allowed to go up, and that's what happened with that.
What did it come down?
Yeah, if it comes down, then I think.
Yeah, he said if it came down, it would come down.
But I don't think it's come down, the CPI. I tried to look it up the other day.
Who does the billing on that? Them or us?
Them.
Okay.
Or
No, we do.
no, we bill the citizens,
Right.
but then
That's
they
another
bill.
part.
I was gonna say, so we're eating that 75 cent a stamp plus the envelope plus.
No, but that, on that, we got, if you've seen the people that owes on that
That's
thing,
what
I'm about ready to take that and go to the magistrate court and start garnishing wages there.
So
'Cause
they're
I
a
looked at
private
this,
company,
and
right?
I know where a bunch of them
Oh,
are.
Ryland, yeah.
So Ryland's a private company and they're forcing us, who is a not-for-profit entity, so to speak, to collect their money? They should be collecting that'd be like me coming up here telling y'all, I need y'all to help me collect the stuff on feed and seed that I've done to the school and the, you know what I'm saying? Why are we doing that for them?
The only thing I can tell you there is that, that's the way we've always done, that's the way most all counties do that, is, is they have their own, the county do the collection, the garbage, because they provide a service to us, the services should be paid by the consumer. And we have this pretty much mapped out where if the consumer will pay for the service, then we should zero out, but they don't pay for the service, so we don't zero out. How much is back on our garbage? There's something like $3,000, I think, probably.
The total's probably maybe 90-something thousand.
Oh, is that all?
Yeah,
Really? For the year or for the whole time?
the whole time.
That's good, dear. That's pretty good,
So
right
we've
there.
collected quite a bit over the
Yeah,
years.
yeah.
That's a good job of that.
Yeah, and but it's just, we need to look and we might have to increase the service fee.
What y'all do is chapter them a lien in the courthouse.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
If they don't pay through the magistrate court, and when they go to refinance their house or sell their house or whatever,
Borrow money.
they have to pay off that. So there's always gonna be that lag.
And what you got there, Tony, they take, if you don't buy them garbage cans and don't pay, don't put this in paper, please, I beg you not to, okay? And leave us alone. Yeah, you all over there?
Yeah, you mean,
Okay, I don't care.
I even asked you which fixing to.
Okay, our next, I can plug in what we've gone through so far for our next budget work session. You can see where
Let me
we're
look
at.
right there. the library is asking $6,000, Tanya, so we're gonna leave that, okay? And Bacon County and they have not been requested to do an increase.
How that's not?
That's what we called today to find out, and that's what they told me the other day in the meeting.
They're supposed to, I mean, what I understood in conversation with Daniel is that they're asking each remaining person to do that. Each remaining county to ante up some more money.
But so far, you know, I talked to Ware, and Ware told me nay, and of course, you know, he may not have known, you know, the sheriff may not have realized they had asked, you know what I'm saying? But I asked Alma the other day, I didn't get a chance to talk to Charlie, you ever talk to him about Charlie? Okay.
I'll ask
And
them.
of course, the other thing there is, you know, Pierce County walked out and left them, they moved over to the Jessup region, so they got their second largest entity there, so I don't know why they need so much more money. Might sound me like they send somebody to the house.
I know I can't speak for all the other counties, but I know they asked every entity in Clinch for more money. So.
Yep. And I saw where the school board did. Okay, do I have a motion to close the budget hearing? Have a motion, do I have a second? Okay, got a motion to second, all in favor say aye. Aye. Okay, let's start the next one now, how about that? We got 6, so we'll start that again. Might need a break? Okay, okay, I'm gonna call our June 2nd, 2025 Kent County Commissioner meeting to order, and will they stand, and we'll have an invocation on second day. Father, once again, Lord, we thank you for this day, and thank you for the opportunity to come together and go over the business of this county, Lord. Just help us to go with open eyes and open hearts, Lord, and open minds to do the very best we can to be able to make the service and give the services in a very adequate way from people of this county, Lord. And Father, we just ask you to continue to bless us as you have, Lord, and Father, be with each and every one of the agencies that work within this county, protect them, and look at them if they go about their duties each and every day. Now, Lord, we just ask that you continue your blessing upon this county. We ask all these things in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
Okay. Chance to review the agenda, and when y'all ready, if I can get a motion to adopt the agenda. Motion, Chad, second Bob. Any further concerns concerning the agenda? If not, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Any opposed, will like sign. Okay, under new business, appointment to the Unison Behavioral Health Board of Directors. And we have one recommendation, and that is Allison Smith, is that correct?
That's correct.
That came as a recommendation from the Behavioral Board, and she's gonna be taking,
Derek Burlock.
this person will be taking Derek Burlock's place. Do we have anybody else that has anybody else to nominate?
I'll make a motion to accept Alice.
Okay, we got a motion to accept Allison, do we have a second? Got a second. Any further discussion? I hear none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Any opposed, like sign. Okay, number 2, request from support for federal land acquisition projects using the Upstate National Wildlife Refuge Land and Water Conservation Fund. And you do have a map in here, and
Just in here.
you have a map?
I don't have any, is that,
Yeah, right there.
okay, I'm sorry, you just logged over here scrambling.
You do have a map, okay? And Jacqueline, I'm gonna let you talk to us about that, okay?
Okay, the U.S. Fishing and Wildlife Service has acquired a grant called the Land and Water Conservation Fund. It helps, I guess, federal agencies acquire land, do land acquisition, and they are looking to, the Okefenokee Refuge is wanting to expand, by 1,667 acres. They're looking to purchase that from the Conservation Fund. It's land that the Conservation Fund bought years ago in anticipation of the Okefenokee Swamp eventually acquiring that land. There's a map of it. What's in yellow is kind of the boundary, but the Conservation Fund owns from the yellow boundary to the green boundary. And they're wanting to wanting to purchase that in order, the conservation fund's been planting longleaf pine in those areas, and they're wanting to acquire it. It's gonna help, keep fires from exiting the swamp whenever a fire does occur there. It'll be a buffer. It'll also allow the public to be able to go hunt in those areas too. So I did check just to see, I guess, how much property taxes the conservation fund, I guess, pay the county for the 1,667 acres, and it's around $30,000 in property taxes. But the Okefenokee, the federal government, pays us every year in revenue for how much federal lands we hold in our county. So in a way, we won't recoup all the tax base that we lose, but we will, get a little bit of it back. But it will benefit the swamp ultimately, which is very important. So, they are just asking for our support because President Trump now requires, anytime the federal land is purchasing any land in a county or a city, that city and county must say that they are, I guess, okay with that and support of that. So.
Right now, they're paying us $38,450, and that should go up, I don't think it's gonna go up to $30,000, but we should go up, it should increase a little bit, you know what I'm saying? And, so it could be, we could have a little bit of loss in taxation right there. But what they're trying to do, they're trying to, eventually the Osceola Forest down there, they're trying to extend that and hook all that up. All that stuff, as you go down through the swamp highway, they want to buy every bit of that and connect every bit of it in there. So when they start buying that other part, it's gonna be a lot different. We're looking at a lot more acres there. A lost taxation there. It's like when I lived in Stewart County, whenever federal government wants to buy more for Fort Benning up there, and when they bought that was taking property tax away from the county school system and the county system. But, so what we just need to vote for.
Say that we support.
That we support the acquisition project, what we need to do. Okay. So anyhow, do I have a motion to support the acquisition or the federal land acquisition project for the National Wildlife Refuge and Land and Water Conservation Fund? I have a motion to support that for the county. Have a motion, have a second. Tanya, second. Any further discussion? I hear none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed, like sign. Okay, number 3, the Georgia Department of Transportation bridge monitoring is on page 7. Jackie, you want to speak on that?
Yeah, the DOT is partnering with UGA to do a study on the impacts of heavy trucks on our bridges, and they have found 2 bridges on the Cogdale Road that they're looking to put, it's like a camera on a pole on our right of way, and then they would install a sensor up underneath the bridge to feel the impact of the weight. They said that it would not record anybody's tag and be used for law enforcement, uses or anything like that. It's just measuring how heavy the loads are coming across the bridges. They're hoping that with this study, because we're not the only county, they're doing it in some other counties too, that they'll bring it before the General Assembly, and it'll be a way of asking for more funding to help, fix our bridges once because they're gonna slowly deteriorate with that new weight limit that they increased it to a year ago. So they just wanted our permission to attach that to the bridge. They wanted somebody from the road department to meet them out there. They'll be out there in 2 weeks if we approve it, to kind of guide them on how to get it set up. The DOT will install the pole for us and everything.
Right. Of course, that doesn't record any tag numbers on any vehicles going across. I think it's probably a blur is what my understanding is, a blur of the vehicle crossing where they tell what type of vehicle, what size vehicle, or log truck, or transport, or whatever it is, and then it monitors the stress of the bridge, that vehicle puts on the stress of that bridge. And that's something, you know, that we got one bridge has been rebuilt on Shiloh Highway. They are in the process on the Antioch Road, building one by the church down there. And I know of 3 or 4 more we really need to be replaced in this county.
I don't know about that, I thought this one has some done with it.
Yeah, I think it's on the list, it's on the list, it's coming, and it definitely needs one.
What about another one going to?
Yeah, it definitely.
Semis on that road.
I thought that's
Unless
what
they
they
was
were
actually
gonna do.
cut.
I thought so too, cause it's in our street with the other
Yeah,
one.
that's what I'm saying.
Frank says
So he
it's
gets
on
more
the
pieces
highway.
though.
Well, there's something about that what's supposed to be done.
Okay, we got a motion to get the approval for
Seem like
them
they
to
will.
monitor that ridge.
I'll check
Have a
that.
motion, Chad, have a second,
Second.
have a second.
Sounds far else to read.
Okay, any further discussion or questions? Anybody have other questions to ask about it before we vote? All right, hearing none, all those in favor, I'll see by saying. Aye. Any opposed, like sign. Okay. Item number 4, approved intergovernmental agreement with the city of Homeville for class 2025. And we're looking at election being in November, is that correct, Jacqueline?
That's correct.
Turn it over to Ms. Jacqueline now.
So our current SPOS is gonna be ceasing at the end of this month, they're projecting, because the last time we did a SPOS, we only did it for 5 years based on population. So we met with the cities, last week, and we've come to an agreement, and I did hear back from the city of Homerville, they did agree to what we proposed at that meeting. The distribution is on page 12. So what it would be is, if we do all agree and do an intergovernmental agreement, the next SPOS would last for 6 years. And even if you met your estimated amount, it would still continue until the very end of that 6-year period, which is a big benefit of that. Because now we didn't do that last time, and now we're, gonna come up about 6 months short of not collecting this lost. But, I was gonna ask our county attorney, Chad, to start getting us an intergovernmental agreement together so we can present it to the city and then
We need that pretty quickly, don't we?
yeah, we do,
Okay.
to get it on their next city agenda. I guess that'll be like, a couple weeks.
Like 2 weeks from now.
2 weeks.
I think that's right.
That's about
I think that's got to have the
Is it next
projects
Thursday?
that each intends on doing, as well as just, I think the intergovernmental agreement mentions the projects.
Well, I think with our last one on the projects, that was it, right there, our last one, we make it very broad, it's our centers in roads, streets, bridges, maintenance, repairs, and improvements include personal equipment of $1,256,000, and then the public safety, emergency vehicle equipment, and facilities. We know where we left it very general, where we can have a lot of leeway in doing. It doesn't have to be one of these things where you've got every detail that gives us a wiggle room there.
So I will get it ready, and I guess that's the description of what y'all.
Jack, good, y'all?
Do we have to have the smaller cities in that intergovernmental agreement, their projects, or is it just us and the city of Homerville? I know we have to have everybody in the resolution.
Everybody's got to be part of it.
Okay,
But it should just about be the same last one, and use it.
yeah.
I don't know why, I mean, it would be such a difficult thing to use the last one and just make corrections and do the updates to it.
Yeah, we can get that.
Well, last time what happened, the city of Homeville and the county, we couldn't agree on the percentages.
Yes.
And, city won over half of it, and we have done that before, and,
Make sure we get that intergovernmental.
and so we couldn't come to an agreement, that's why we ended up with 5 years. Yeah, well, because of then it said there, you can go back to the previous census and use the figure from previous census, is what it said.
I would think the generosity of the county and keeping them where they were would certainly
Oh, yeah.
sweeten the pot for them to want to be more amenable to a 6-year agreement.
And what we did, y'all, Tanya's talking about here, is we took, it's based on the population, and of course, there was about, what was it, Fargo and Argyle? Fargo and Argyle had actually reduced in population, and honest, they don't have any source of income coming in, and Fargo, and DuPont over, they don't have any. So what we did there, we simply agreed to take a lesser amount of county and leave them at the same level. I think it was like 2% or 2.38%. I don't know why it's in my head somewhere there. And we took, and the county took the loss on that. And of course, City of Homerville, we didn't make them whole. We can make them, because they put the loss on that, because they're able to take and they're taxing you. That's why we didn't do that. But we've all got an agreement going now, and Chad, you just get that ready for us, and we can get that rolling. We can't lose that. If we lose that, y'all, I'll tell you that, we don't get that passed, it's gonna cost the county, it's gonna cost us probably, you're looking at $1.5 million next time around, next budget time. And what you look, that's how much it means to us to be able to do these things. Well, you see the figures, right? I think, probably the figures are right there. They speak for themselves.
I think Creekbox should make some commercials boosting the SPOS thing, that'd be great.
And of course, I think the Board of Education's got one coming too, and so it's gonna be interesting.
I think everybody's last time was general, maybe the city of Homerville's was a little more specific with capital equipment for Homerville Municipal Complex and a few other specific things, but I think what we'll do is send out an email to Homerville and each one of these cities and ask them, are they fine with this language being in the resolution as last time? Every one of them, let's say Fargo, let's say DuPont, funding capital outlay projects consisting of roads, street drainage, bridge, maintenance, repairs and improvements, including purchase of equipment, construction of and improvements to the water system facilities, public safety and emergency equipment facilities. All of them are written general.
Yeah, very general like that.
So everybody ought to give us their feedback.
If you will, when you send that email out, put a deadline on it there for me. We need to hear something back from them too. So we need to get this thing ready to roll. Okay,
I guess.
no, is there anything to vote on? What I'm looking at.
Well, I think they could vote to appoint you and Jackson to execute the intergovernmental agreement if time constraints are an issue, based on this percentage breakdown and based on the projects.
Yeah, based on what we presented here tonight.
That's right.
Is that good when everybody do that? Hang on, we'll try to repeat what Chad just said. Okay, Chad, that was second.
Second.
Okay, got a motion to second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Any opposed, like sign. Health insurance renewal, we already talked about a little bit, Jack can go ahead.
Yeah, we might need to table this, but we did hear back from our insurance provider and they're proposing a 42% increase. Last year, they actually gave us a 30% decrease. So we just kind of washed each other out, went up a little higher, but our broker is still working on getting a better price and he should know something by Wednesday. So maybe I'll have an update for y'all at the next budget work session. We can see a better number.
Okay, so I just have a motion to table number 5, health insurance renewal, I have a motion to table that, till further information can be gathered.
I'll make a motion to table it.
Okay, got a motion to table, do we have a second? Motion to second. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, or like sign. Okay, the item number 6, prison work detail agreement on page 22. All right, Jacqueline.
This is our annual agreement with the Patent Detention Center. Our current rate with them is $49,318. They send the prisoners over here a couple times a week. However, since COVID, it really hasn't been happening as often. They are starting to come a little more now, but they've in the new agreement for the next year, they've increased their rate to $54,249, which we pay for that out of SPLOST and then T-SPLOST. They have 15. We have to pay them for any federal holiday. Plus, if they don't come, they get 15 days to where we have to pay them whether they come or not. And then after those 15 days are met, we don't owe them anything if they don't come.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's probably good just to have it there, in case they do start coming more often. Because they do help pick up trash and stuff.
They are a big help. They do a lot of things that our county crew doesn't have any time or any opportunity to do. It's too much. I saw them the other day, I think on a bypass picking up trash, I think.
Yeah.
I believe I saw them there the other day.
I think they were the rec department.
Yeah, they do a lot around the rec department. They sure do. They do a lot of things. I've seen them around the bridges some out here.
Yeah.
Our county bridges, you know, with the weed eaters and stuff like that. So it's gonna be an increase to up to 54,000.
That's right.
Okay. And of course, I don't think we ever pay them. That one thing happens there with them, y'all, they have one person out send out with detail. They don't like to send different people out to detail every time around, but they like to have some kind of a understanding who is there. And so if that guard is not there that operates that detail, they just don't come. They don't send a substitute guard out with them. That's pretty small, it really is. Okay, do I have a motion to approve the agreement with the prison work detail agreement?
I make a motion.
Have a motion, have a second? Second. A motion to second, any further discussion? I hear you none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Any opposed, like sign. Okay. Old business termite, treatment and service with, commission office building, I think we tabled this last time, is that right?
We did.
We tabled it last time, like Jack can take off for that.
Okay, our first estimate we had got originally was from Singo to install a termite baiting system all around this office. And their price was $5,250 to do that, and then after that it'd be $643 a year. I got a quote from Terminex and Orkin, and Terminex, their baiting system would be $2,900 to install it, and then the annual warranty would be $300. And then Orkin was, the termite baiting system was $3,999, and then the annual warranty would be $396 a year.
That's worth taking, boy.
It was, yeah.
That's worth taking. Okay, the same procedure, same process.
That's right,
Okay,
yeah.
everything's the same. Okay, do I have a motion to approve low bidder Terminex? Terminex to do our termite treatment?
I make a motion.
We have a motion, Tony, and we got second Chad. Any further discussion? I hear none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Any opposed, like sign. Okay, that does it. Do I have a motion to adjourn? A motion, have a second? Okay. All those in favor? Bye, Deborah.
All right, have a good night.
You do the same.